that we met. Your eyes so blue, me piercing through. I can't forget.
Hi everyone, my name is Chantal and I am the owner of Glitzy Glam Face Painting. Today I'm going to be showing you a quick tutorial on how to complete a rose with some flower petals. So let's get started. So first of all, I like to lay a base down, so I take a little sponge here and I just wet it, but not too much. And then I'm going to grab my base colour, which I usually like to go for a shimmery base, just to give it an added effect. So I just dab the sponge lightly into the shimmered colour, and you can see it comes up a little bit shimmery on the sponge, and just dab an area that I want to cover. So for this rose I want to cover the whole lower arm, so I'm just going to lightly dab all over the lower arm. Don't worry about blending it in, or if it looks a bit untidy, that's fine, because the finished product, it will tie in nicely together. And just give a shimmer in the light. So I've just dabbed that over, and what you want to do is, before you put any other paint on top of that, you want to make sure it's dry. A good way of doing that is spraying it with some glitter. It just helps it to dry a bit quicker. So I'm just going to pop that on. And then you can let it dry whilst you get the next lot of paint ready. So I'm just taking a 3/4 inch flat brush initially to do my petals. And just as you put it in the water, make sure you dab any excess water off, because you don't want the paintbrush to be too saturated. And if you've got a bit of tablecloth, kitchen cloth, you can just dab it on there. So here it is, the 3/4 angled brush, and I'm going to take a split cake with 3 colours, and I'm just going to use this. So you want the longest edge of the brush, don't know if you can see that there, to be in the white. So you want the edge of your petal to be white. So you just do a few strokes one way to load the paint, and a few strokes back the other way to load the paint. And you want a good creamy consistency, but you don't want it too wet, because the paint will then start to bleed into the skin and ruin the design. So just backwards and forwards, so you get a nice creamy consistency, like that. And then you just want to lay the brush down on the skin. Oh, sorry about that, guys. So you just want to lay the brush down on the skin and just wiggle it around into like a bit of an N shape. Oh, can't see that. There we go. And then you're going to do this 5 times, just to create 5 petals, and wriggle it round in a circle. So you're just laying the brush flat and wiggling round, laying the brush flat and wiggling round, and bring it in like so. So what you should see is that so far. And again, you need to just put some glitter over that, because you don't want it to be wet when you come to paint over the top of it. I'm just going to load my brush again and add some additional petals. One up the top here, so you're just going to go up to a point and back down and fill it in. As you can see, that's a little bit of a too watery consistency, but if that happens, don't worry, just let it dry. And here we're going to come up into a point and back down and fill in the middle. And then we are going to spray that with some glitter. So what you should have is that look at the moment so far. The next step is to fill in the rose. It should be dry enough now. And we are just going to make again at the top, and we want it to be just a little bit higher than the petals, and then we are going to come down to make a U and join those together like so. And then we are just going to go over this here. If you make a mistake like that, don't worry about it, it's easily corrected. Just take the brush straight back over the top, don't be afraid, and the colours will just blend back in together. And then just to create the final petals on the rose, we are going to use the white end, and we are going to make almost like a comma shape just around the petals. So we're going to start this side, make a comma. So you're going to go the other side, make a comma. So it's lay the brush down and then bring it up to a point. And we're just going to continue that all the way around in layered tiers to make the rose. Again, just spray that with some glitter so it can be drying. If you do find that you've got any gaps on the skin, just fill it in with the shorter end of the brush. I'm going to come into the green now to create the leaves. Again, that's using another split cake. It's got 3 shades of green, so just from dark to light. You always want the bigger end of your brush to pick up the darkest colour. So once I've washed my brush, I am just going to load the green. Using the same technique, wipe any excess water off, and then you're just going to lay the brush flat and you're going to stroke upwards. Again, making sure it's not too watery, making sure you get a nice creamy consistency, and then you're just going to come back down. It's important to keep the brush strokes in the same direction so you pick up the same colours and don't muddy the cake. So once you've got a nice creamy load, you just want to dab it on a bit of tissue just to make sure the consistency is nice. And then we're going to do the leaves. So for the leaves, you just want to go and do the same sort of shape as the petal, but you can just feather it upwards just by giving the brush a little wiggle. It creates a little bit of a feathered look, and bring it back down. And then just put a tiny little one this side. And then you're going to do the same on this side. You're going to, sorry, I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to make it so you can see. Lay the brush flat, feather it upwards, and then feather it back down. But I'm at a bit of a poor angle here, so that might not have been as effective as I'd like. But again, that's fine, because when you add all of the little detail, you will not see that, so not to worry. And that gives you your leaves. Again, spray it with glitter to help that to dry, and then we are going to go in and do a few little flower petals now. I will show you how we're going to achieve that. So for my flower petals, I'm taking a flora brush, like this one. It's in the shape of a petal. And all I'm going to do is wet it and dab off any excess paint. Take my white and pick up some white. Again, you want a nice creamy consistency. And keep going until you have a nice creamy consistency, but not too much water. You want it to almost be quite thick. And then if you can see, the tip of the paintbrush has got quite a lot of white on it. You just want to take some kitchen roll and wipe the tip of the paintbrush off, so it takes the first layer of what the tip of the white off. And then you want to take any colour of your choice. I like to go for a dark blue colour. And then you're just going to take the tip only and just do circular motions into the paint to pick up some blue on the end of the brush. Like so. So that is what your brush should look like. And then to make the petals, very simple technique. All you need to do is just lay the brush down flat, like so, and you will get a flower petal. And then again, you can place them where you like. I like to just feather them up into a nice neat row, like so. And then you might come and do some over this leaf. As I mentioned before, that this is the reason it doesn't matter if your leaves don't go perfectly, because you're more than likely going to paint over the top of it anyway, so never worry if you make a mistake. And then yep, you can just dot those around wherever you find pleasing, and until your paint runs out. But you're literally just laying the brush flat to the skin. If you lay it that way, you get a thinner petal, and if you lay it this way, you get a bit of a thicker petal, so you can just have a play around with the brush. And of course, we're going to go to the glitter and just spray the glitter on there. We can never have too much glitter. And all that's left to do is just add some little finishing touches. So I like to take a thin paintbrush. I'm just going to select one now. Just a thin round brush like so. And I like to dip that into my white. Again, making sure you've got a nice creamy consistency. Like so. And then you're just going to add some little embellishments, so they can be like little dots just to highlight. You can highlight round the edges of the petals. You can add some little swirls in if you like. This bit is the most fun part, because it's the part when you get to just play with the design and just add little finishing touches as you like. I like to add some little star bursts to make it look like it's shining. So for that, you just want to make a cross. So you're going to go to the centre, flick up, flick down, and flick to the sides, and then just add some little dots. I'll show you that again. So you go flick up, flick down, flick to the sides, and just add some little dots. And then just create some cute little embellishments. And as I say, you can sort of play with it as much as you like. But there you have it. The rose design with some flower petals. Thank you for watching. Bye.